I have been getting a lot of comments recently, talking specifically about, can you do a Moon Knight guide? Can you do a Moon Knight guide? When's the Moon Knight guide? And this is primarily because most of the videos I post on the channel, I'm usually playing Moon Knight. He is my main, if you don't know. Hi, my name is Kai. I play Moon Knight a lot. I like him. I like other characters as well, but something about him is really good. It's just a great play style, and I think he has a lot to offer that people don't really kind of manipulate, which is really cool. So I have a list of a couple of things that I want to get through. So I think I've watched a lot of other Moon Knights play Moon Knight, and I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is that they kind of just AFK after they throw the Ankh, because although his Ankh is really useful, it's not like the only piece of his kit that is useful. So I'll see a lot of Moon Knights just do like this, and then they're kind of just, you know, stand here and they won't really do much else just because the Ankh is down on the ground. And that works a lot of the times, especially in like lower elo, if you're playing ranked, or in just, you know, normal pub lobbies, because it's pubs. But I feel like I'm trying to make this not just for, oh, you can, you know, this is how you can verse bad players. I feel like I want this to be, this is just the way that I play Moon Knight. So I want to start off by saying, like, there's different play styles, of course, and there's a lot of different things you can do differently, but this is the way that I play him, because a lot of people ask me how I play Moon Knight and my guide and everything else. So this is what I'm telling you right here. So the number one thing is genuinely the Ankh. You should treat the Ankh more like it's your partner rather than like the number one focus of everything. So think of the Ankh. This is gonna sound super silly, but think of the Ankh as like your duo. You know what I mean? So let's say that this is like, you know, Cloak and Dagger or something, and you have a team up because of the Ankh. So the Ankh is like, okay, well, the Ankh is there. If I do some stuff with the Ankh, then boom, you know, some good stuff will happen off of it. But don't think of it like it's an anchor, because a lot of Moon Knights think of it as like it's an anchor, and like, oh, they threw it there, so now they have to focus on this spot and do this and do that and everything else. There's a lot of the times where like you'll be fighting over here, and then all of a sudden you'll just like start fighting over here, and then you're like, okay, well, back to here. So it's like, I think my point is just don't get too wrapped up in, oh, I can't fight if I don't have an Ankh down, which is just very much not true, because you can literally just, you know what I mean, you can, it's just, you can go back and forth, which is really cool. So that's the biggest thing. Just don't get caught up on your Ankh is, oh, my Ankh is literally my entire life, because it's really not, especially because it's very easily able to be broken. Let's see if I can put it down. Does it actually hit if... Okay, he's so bad. That are you kidding me? That's like literally right in front of you, buddy. It takes 2 hits. The enemy can, most other heroes can break the Ankh in literally 2 hits. It's very fragile. So I mean, you got to kind of be smart and not put too much weight on this Ankh specifically. Okay, so the second thing I want to talk about is his grapple. His grapple is actually really good, and it is not talked about enough with his kit, because people are just kind of like focused on, you know, the Ankh and whatever else in his ult, but his grapple is actually very good, because you can literally attach it to anything in any direction and it just will launch you and you can glide after it. So this was actually brought up to my attention in the comments of one of my videos. Someone said you can actually grapple to the ground and it will take you almost the same height that it does if you look up at something, depending, like if you look up just like at the wall here. If I grapple the ground, it actually does send me up really high. So I think a huge tip here for your grapple in general is, in the middle of a fight, you can actually grapple while you're fighting and just get out of there. Like, because Moon Knight has a double jump, he has the cape itself, but he doesn't really have much movement aside from that. Like, he's fairly slow, he doesn't really have a dash, he doesn't have anything to get in and out with. But this grapple is like literally his everything, because you can just get up to height on certain places, and not to mention it's just a really great way to get like weird angles on the enemy team. Also, something else that I'm doing that is like, I don't know if you've noticed it or not, or if you've watched any of my other videos, but a huge thing that I would tell you, while you are throwing the Ankh, there is a little bit of a grace period between, like, I see a lot of people like throw the Ankh and wait for it to hit the ground before they actually start shooting. So they'll do like this, and they'll start using it, which, I mean, that works if people aren't paying attention, but if they are paying attention, you're probably not going to get almost any shots off before the Ankh actually touches the ground. So a really smart way to do this, let me see if I can find enemies that aren't like, that don't have Ankhs next to them. Okay, well, this is good. A really smart way to do this is, if I'm here and this is an enemy, right, if you throw the Ankh and shoot directly after you throw it before it even hits the ground, the projectiles will get there after the Ankh hits the ground, and it'll still bounce anyway. So what I mean is like this. And if you get super quick with that and you just hit, you know, throw the Ankh and then immediately just shoot afterwards, it'll hit at the same time, and you'll get that initial shot off before the enemy team can even like recognize that there's an Ankh, because there is no Ankh on the ground, so they're just confused. So again, I'll do it again. I'll do it one time. And you throw the alternate fire in there as well, and then it just works like even crazier. The combo that I always do, this is the combo that I always do, which is, by the way, just throw if you have the Ankh, of course, you throw the Ankh, then you primary fire, and then I just secondary fire back to back, and it works insanely well, literally every single time. It works insanely well. You don't even have to hit them like directly. It works perfectly every time, as long as you have the Ankh. If you don't have the Ankh, then it changes things. But again, you can do the same thing just without the primary fire. You can just instantly throw your secondary as well. So, oh, I messed it up. Hold on, wait. Give me 5 seconds. Actually, this is a little awkward. Anyway, what's going on? Galactabot Ultra. How's it doing? Anyway, Ankh and then secondary, and it's just like. It's just a great combo. It's just a really good combo. That's huge, because I don't see a lot of Moon Knights. Like, I see most of Moon Knights just waiting until the Ankh actually hits the ground, which is a great way to get it broken really easily. And because the Ankh only comes back every, what is it? Every 10 seconds, 11 seconds or 12 seconds, whatever it is. Every 12 seconds or so. Then, I mean, 12 seconds is a long time, like, in a fight. Like, it's nothing right now, but in a fight, it is a very long time to have to wait for that Ankh back, just for it to potentially get broken instantly again anyway. So, which brings it to my next point. My next thing I want to say is literally almost never throw the Ankh in front of people. Now, I've done this a lot, like just in the middle of a battle. If something's happening and you think everyone's distracted, then it'll work really, really well. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. But for the most part, you're going to want to see if you can find places behind the enemy team to try and throw it, because obviously they can't see it. And then if you're, you know, if you do enough damage without the Ankh, then they'll back up into it. So what I mean is, like, if I'm back here, right? Or actually, I mean, better example. If I'm in front of them, like over here, they're gonna expect me to throw the Ankh kind of like in front, like right here on this line. But if I throw it behind them, they're gonna think that I either number one missed, or they're gonna understand what I'm doing. But by the time they do, they're just gonna be dead anyway. So it doesn't even matter. You throw it behind them, it kind of pulls them backwards, which jars them, and then you just do the little combo that I said, which is the primary and the secondary. It works very well, like stupidly well. Because even though people know who Moon Knight is, and they understand what he does in his kit and stuff, and they know he's super dangerous, they just genuinely, if they don't see the Ankh, they usually don't look around for it, which is super silly. They only really break it instantly if they see it in front of them. Now, of course, this is in every player. Like, if I do that, it would probably be broken in the real game. But in most games, if you throw it behind them, they don't see anything. My next point that I never see people do enough, people, and this is going to sound kind of contradictory, but
there, ahead, I found them.
I want you to be weird, like just do weird angles, do weird things, like in games, try to see if you can stand on places you've like never stood on before. Get weird like angles from behind them or from the side of them that no one will stand. Like, most people are not gonna stand here to find enemies and like do weird things. Like, if I'm here, I can literally throw the Ankh all the way over there and then just, you know what I mean? Like, just super weird angles that you're like, okay, where is it even coming from? And it just disorients them. And then the reason I said this is contradictory is because I want you to do exactly the opposite and play directly with the team, like right in front of them. Because if you do this, they'll be like, okay, well, he's just like not doing anything, and they expect you just to be using the like your primary fire normally, but in actuality, you're throwing your Ankhs behind them and then jarring them and then making them think weird, and then they get scared, so then they back up into them, which is why this is so good. Because if you're at this angle, right, and something that a lot of people don't know is that your primary fire actually bounces between like normal like characters as well. People don't really know this. So if I explain, people think the shots only bounce between like your Ankhs. They do not. It actually goes between just players as well. So if there's a player near another player, you'll see I can kill this guy before I even kill the guy I'm shooting at. You see how that works? So it's like people don't even really know this. Like, I'm not sure if most people that play Moon Knight even are aware of that, but you don't even need an Ankh for it to bounce. You just need to be close. So again, I'll explain. If I'm up here, you see how they bounce between things? That's insane. It's crazy. But if they're not that close, let's say they're a little further away, like these guys probably will be. If they're a little further away, it won't. Obviously, they have to be a certain distance. I do not know how close they actually need to be, like, mathematically. But, I mean, obviously, this distance is too far. That's way too far. But the idea here is that if you're up here in a situation like this, if you're up here, you're really only going to hit the person that you're standing, like, near. You know what I mean? Like, only hit the person that you're aiming at. But if you're down here, you can potentially hit multiple people at the same time because you're making everything level. So what I mean is, like, if you let your projectiles kind of like be level with multiple different enemies, you'll most likely hit more people than not. Now these guys are like off center, so obviously they're not going to, like, I'm not gonna hit multiple at the same time. But I think my idea here is, like, the angle always matters. So unless they're really close like this, like I said, but if they're super, like, spread out, but like they're all on the same level ground, like they're all on the flat ground like this, and you can just see how what I mean here. You can just throw things around and it'll hit anything and it'll bounce between them. It's insanely crazy because, like, again, like I said in the beginning of this video, people are just so heavy, like, oh, well, the Ankh is the best thing, and the Ankh is really good, but like, it's not just the Ankh that's good. This is a better example. I don't think they bounce between this. All right, let me see. I don't think these guys are close enough. Okay, they're not. Okay, this is perfect. This is perfect. This is perfect. So this guy did not get hit when I just killed this guy. But if I go this way, right? Even without the Ankh there, despite the Ankh, if I go this way, then it will bounce between, not bounce, but it'll go through people. Once you kill that guy, you can kill this guy, and like, because they're all on the same level playing ground, you hit more than if I was up here aiming at one guy individually. Because if I'm aiming at one guy, I'm only killing the one guy I'm aiming at. Hopefully that makes sense.
I'm not done.
This move tech. Okay. I don't know if somebody's actually come up with a name for this or not. But I have this thing that I do a lot, which is this move right here. Like I said, I don't know if people do this or if they actually have a name for it yet or not, but I'm calling it glide breaking. So I do this almost in basically almost every game. It's just like natural for me to do this, I guess. I don't know, but basically what it is you just grapple and then pull glider and then continuously unpull the glider over and over again. It makes you a lot harder to hit in the air, and it's it just works well. I don't know, and it maintains your distance as well. Like, it maintains your height. You don't really fall off unless you like don't click it fast enough. But if I glide and then I kind of just like spam this glide over and over again, it kind of, you know, it's just a nice way to dodge things if you're out. Because when you're in the air gliding as Moon Knight, you're super vulnerable. It's like the easiest way to die as Moon Knight is just to pop this glider and then just kind of glide like this. It's like one of the easiest way to die because it's a very slow glide, as you can see. It's like super slow. So doing anything you can to make yourself like a harder target to hit, and glide breaking like this, it helps a lot. So that's a huge thing, like I said. Okay. This is one of the other things that I want to do is his melee. His melee is just extremely like underrated. I don't almost ever see any Moon Knights melee. I fought so many Moon Knights and I've almost never seen any of them melee. Now I will admit I don't do this very often, but when I do, it usually works like insanely well because people don't expect me to do it. If you're unaware, when you use Moon Knight's melee, the third hit actually knocks people up. So if you look at the one that the 1/3 from the bottom, triple eclipse, perform a combo with his I'm not even gonna try. Perform a combo, and the third strike will slightly launch up enemies. So again, like I just showed you, if I hit 1, 2, 3, and it knocks them back. It doesn't do it very far, but it's like good enough, like just for in general. But the reason this is good is because it actually does like decent damage. And if someone's really low, let's say you're fighting like a Doctor Strange or a Magneto or someone that has a shield or anything, it's actually really good when you're trying to kill them and you don't have, like, you need to reload, or you don't have the Ankh to throw behind them, or they're just extremely low and you know that if you don't get them dead right now, they might get healed, and you're super close. You might as well just, you know, going for it. And people don't do it because it's Moon Knight, so they're just, again, they're so focused on his Ankh and, oh, do I have the Ankh? Do I have this? Do I have that? When you get so focused on that, you kind of forget, oh, he has a melee, and it works the same way as everyone else's melee. People just forget, which brings me to my next thing, which is his team up between with Cloak and Dagger. I just did the complete wrong thing. His team up with Cloak and Dagger. So his team up, again, if you do not know, his team up is when you press whatever button you have it bound to. I think triangle is default. Wait, no. I don't remember if I changed it, but whatever his full moon ability is. Cloak and Dagger can inject light and dark energy into Moon Knight to create a light and dark realm where Moon Knight can become invisible. Now, I'm going to blow your mind with this. I'm about to say two completely opposite things. Okay. This ability is really good, and no one uses it. This is also brought to my attention in the comments. No one uses this. Like, people don't really use this. I don't see Moon Knights do this very often. The cooldown on it, I believe, is pretty hefty. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 30 seconds is pretty crazy. The cooldown is pretty insane. So I wouldn't pop this anytime. The only time I would pop this is when you need to get away. So I see a lot of people try to pop this when they're like fighting, and you know that might work really well if you're on some really weird angle and people don't know where you're at. But if it's anywhere near in front of the enemy, I would never do it, because what's gonna happen here is you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna pop this, boom, and then I'm gonna stand here in this, and they're gonna be like, okay, I'm shooting them. They still know you're in here somewhere, and every time they shoot you, anytime they just like blindly fire into the shadow and they hit you, it makes you visible. And a lot of people don't know this, but anytime you get hit when you're inside of that, you're actually visible. They can see you. So if I get shot right here, like boom, you can see that I'm visible. If I can see me, they can see me. So it works off of view. If you can see yourself, they can also see you. If you're shadowy like this, then they can't see you at all. So my tip for this is use it, but only when you're on really weird off angles. Like if I'm up here, pop this before you throw an Ankh, and then do like this, because they'll have no idea where you're at, because they can't see you. They can't see you, and they don't know where they're getting shot from because it's from the Ankh, so it just shows them in every direction, which is another reason why Moon Knight's so good, because they don't know where they're getting shot from, because the Ankh just says, oh, it's from here. So, like I said, what I would use it for is primarily, I use it to get away. So I'd pop this, and then I'd probably pop that on the ground, jump out, because they don't know what direction I'm going to leave from, and then we just, you know, glide break until we're out of there. And the last thing that I want to talk about, this is actually really big, and I know a lot of people might not agree with this, and a lot of people might be like, okay, well, that's just like silly, and it's just a waste or whatever else, but a huge thing that has won me multiple games, and I can tell you this, this has won me very many games, yes, in lower elo and like gold lobbies and stuff like that, but gold lobbies better than no lobbies, you know what I mean? But it has won me so many games. It has won me so many games just from a singular use of my ult in a very strange way. So there's two kinds of ults that I feel like I do as Moon Knight. The first one is a regular ult, so you just ult on them to kill them. Like obviously that's gonna kill them, especially because it's always just buffed, which is really fire. But the second kind of ult that I'll do, and I'll actually do this more often than not, and a lot of people in any lobby anywhere will just be like, they'll see me do this and they'll go, bro, you need to swap, bro, get off Moon Knight, you just wasted all, why waste all like that, why waste all? And a lot of times, sometimes it is a waste, because, you know, I mean, I'm human, it happens, but for the most part, let's say that the end of this line, okay, let's say the 10, the 20, the 15 meter line is like the payload, the cart, the point, whatever the objective is, you know what I mean? And these guys are trying to get there, all right? Now, if I ult them, I need to turn this back on. If I ult, oh, wait, I do have that. What the if I ult on the enemy, what they're gonna do is they're literally just going to run through my ult and try to tank the damage. If I ult right here, you see, look at the distance from them to the front of my ult, so like around this area, the distance from them to the front of my ult is the same as the distance it is to go backwards. So they're not going to choose to go backwards, they're going to choose to go towards the objective. So if I know that I'm either not going to kill everyone, or if I am aware that some people can live through the ult, if I put it halfway through, what I'll do is I'll put the ult up further where no one's at. I'll put it right here. And the reason why is because if I ult on them, I call this a elimination ult. This is an elimination ult. If I ult in front of them, I call this a fear ult, or an aesthetic ult, because they don't want to walk through it. So essentially, imagine you're the enemy team right here, right? And I throw an ult here. You have to walk through that entire thing. You're not gonna walk through that and live that. You're not living that. It's like, period. You don't live that. Unless you can find a way to walk around it or whatever else, but a lot of times this is in small corridors and you're not walking through it. So that saves about what? I mean, how many seconds does Moon Knight's ult even go off? Let me see. I've never actually counted this like outright. That saves so many seconds. And if this is like overtime and we need time to like save and get them off the cart, then this works great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about 5-ish seconds that goes off. So 5 seconds is a long time in overtime. That could be the entire game won right there because of a fear ult. Like I said, I call them fear ults because they don't actually do anything. I mean, if I get a kill off of it, then great. I mean, I probably will. Like, I mean, the splash damage on it is pretty big. Like you just saw, I got 2 kills off of like robots themselves. But the splash damage, the splash radius is pretty big, so I could potentially get a kill. But my intention is not to get a kill whatsoever. My intention is to stop them from walking through this. If it kills them as well, because they're too stupid to walk through it themselves, or because the splash radius is too big, then I get kills, which is great. And again, like I said, a lot of people be like, okay, well, why wouldn't you just wait until they're on the cart to ult them? Because this same thing has happened so many times where they're on the objective, and I ult, and they either tank a little bit of it and are able to run off and then run right back, or they just don't move at all because someone like ults, like kind of ults it. The situation I'm talking about where I would like fear ult is a situation where it's overtime, or when there's like a couple seconds left and I don't want them to touch. I just don't want them to touch. And if they touch, like if they're already on the objective and they touch, then they've already touched. So I take that chance and go, okay, well, I don't want them to touch at all, which, like I said, has won multiple games. Like, it's very many times this has worked. Again, in quote-unquote lower elo lobbies, but it's worked so many times, I can't even count how many times this works. It's insane, because there's all, especially after the buff, you can't walk through that. It's not possible. So it just works really well, just like I'm saying. So that is basically all the things that I want to say. This is a bit of a longer video than I usually do, but again, I wanted to have like a super in-depth Moon Knight guide, because I've seen a lot of people do guides on stuff, and I just wanted to do one. I really wanted to do one, and I was like, I love Moon Knight. He's my favorite character in the game. I love playing him, and like I said, I don't see people really play him in what I feel like is the way that I enjoy to play Moon Knight, or the way that I think is the best and beneficial for him. Now, I was thinking about playing an actual game in this video, like an actual regular game, and be like, okay, hey, this is what I do here, and which would be fire. But I think this is more about informational stuff. And like I said, if you want to watch me play Moon Knight, I have a bunch of Moon Knight videos on the channel, and I'm gonna be posting a bunch more as well, because I didn't know a lot of this stuff the last time I played strictly just Moon Knight on this channel. So yeah, I hope you guys learned something new today. I hope you guys enjoy Moon Knight. But yeah, so if you keep all those things in mind, like, you can kind of combo things back to back and do some really cool stuff. Of course, you can't do that because no ability cooldown, but yeah, very, very cool. Oh, also, one last thing. This is just a little bit of a buff. You didn't used to be able to throw his Ankh while you were gliding, so that's a huge W. They changed that. It used to go straight forward, and it was very annoying. So if I do like this, I can actually look down and just, like, it was really cool. Like, if I'm gliding, it would go straight ahead no matter where I was looking, which was very, very frustrating. But yeah, I hope you, ladies and gentlemen, enjoyed today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves, man. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.